Part II of the Acharnians by Aristophanes, translated by Charles James Billson, 1858 1932. This Librivox Recording is in the public domain. Recording by Expatriate in Bangor, Maine. Part II. Porter opening the door. Who's there? Dicæopolis. Euripides indoors? Porter, after a moment's reflection. Indoors and out of doors, if sense is yours. Dicæopolis. Why, how can he be in yet out, you dunce? Porter, with the alacrity of a sophist scenting a metaphysical argument. I'll prove you, master, that he's both at once. Abroad his intellectual being soars, collecting verselets, and is out of doors. His vital presence and material man sits in the garret making verses scan. Dicæopolis. Euripides is lucky, I declare, to have a porter who can split a hair. Call him. Porter. But that can't be. Dicæopolis. But else you'll rue it, for I shall stay here knocking till you do it. Euripides, my Euripidion, hear me if ever you heard any one. It's Dicæopolis from Collidae. Euripides, within. But I'm engaged. Dicæopolis. But let them wheel you free. Euripides. But that can't be. Dicæopolis. But if you don't, you'll rue it. Euripides. But being too busy to come down, I'll do it. Euripides is wheeled out in the enclima. Dicæopolis. I say, Euripides. Euripides. Well, what do you say? Dicæopolis. Why, so you make your plays up there all day instead of the ground floor. Well, that should teach us why all of them go lame before they reach us. Verses and characters alike? And pray, why wear those tatters from some tragic play, those weeds of woe? Well, that should teach us why they're both alike so very beggarly. But, dear Euripides, I beg and pray, give me a little rag from that old play. For I must make a long speech to the chorus, and if we fail, our life must answer for us. Euripides. What tatters would you? Those my Aeneas there, the old man dismal faded, used to wear? Dicæopolis. Not Aeneas, no, a wretcheder than Aeneas. Euripides. Blind Phoenix? Dicæopolis. No, although his rags had seen use, but was there one e'en wretcheder than he? Euripides. What shreds of raiment would the fellow see? Do you mean the rags of beggar Philoctetes? Dicæopolis. No, my man's beggary far more complete is. Euripides. Would you the muddy vesture that went on the crippled limbs of that Bellerophon? Dicæopolis. No, not Bellerophon, but just that stamp. A lame, persistent, prating, prosing tramp. Euripides. I know him. Telephus. Dicæopolis. Ay, Telephus. Give me his swaddlings and be generous. Euripides to his slave. Boy, bring him Telephus's tattered tags. You'll find them lying on Thyestes' rags just under Eno's. Slave. Take them, they are here. Dicæopolis, holding the garments up to the light to show their looped and windowed raggedness. By Jove, they'll see through this disguise, I fear. But 'tis indeed most tragically designed. Euripides, as you have been so kind, pray give me all belonging to the suit, the Mysian bonnet for my head to boot, since I this day must play the beggar here, be what I am, but some one else appear, while all the audience know that I am I. But each poor foolish chorus man stands by for me to flip my wordcraft at his nose. Euripides. I will. The webs of thought thou weavest close. Dicæopolis. Bless you. May Telephus be what I trow. Bravo! What wordcraft I'm being filled with now. But still, I want a little beggar's stick. Euripides. Take it, and leave the marble mansion quick. Dicæopolis. O soul, thou art ousted from these halls of his, though still in want of many properties. So now thou must be firm and persevere and importune. Euripides, my dear, give me a tiny basket with a handle, one with a hole burnt through it by a candle. Euripides. What want, then, of this woven thing is thine? Dicæopolis. Why, none at all. I want it to be mine. Euripides. Evacuate the palace and don't bother? Dicæopolis. May heaven bless you as it blessed your mother. Euripides. Now, sir, be gone. Dicæopolis. But grant me one more whim. A little pitcher with a broken rim. Euripides. There, take it with my curse, plague of the palace. Dicæopolis. By Jove, to his own plaguiness he's callous. But give me one thing more, a little jug. There's a good darling, with a sponge for plug. Euripides. Fellow, you'll rob me of my tragedy. Take it and go. Dicæopolis. I'm going, yet, dear me, what shall I do? I want just one thing more, and then I'll go forever. I implore Euripides, for very life I ask it, give me some withered leaves to line the basket. Euripides. There, there, you'll ruin me. My plays are sped. Dicæopolis. No more. I'm going for my hardihead is overgreat, nor recks of royal loathing. Oh dear, poor me, I'm lost and brought to nothing. I'm done for, I forgot the cornerstone of all my fortunes. Euripidion, sweetest and best of men, I thee implore. May I be hanged if I ask any more? But this one single trifle, and no other. Just one poor lettuce, heirloom of thy mother. Euripides. The man insults us. Close the barriers there. Euripides is wheeled in. Dicæopolis. Poor soul, without a lettuce thou must fare. Now do the dangers of the race dishearten a soul that's going to speak up for the Spartan? Here's the scratch. Come forth, my soul, and tow it. Dost halt? Hast thou not drunk, the piteous poet? That's right. And now go yonder, poor my heart, and lay your head down there to speak your part. Screw up your courage. Eyes upon the goal. Art ready? Go! Well done, my noble soul. First Semi-Chorus. What shall you say? What is your plan? Shameless, insolent, brazen man, to pledge the state your neck, as you have done, defending a minority of one? Second Semi-Chorus. He does not fear his task to-day. Since you have chosen it, speak away. Dicæopolis. Take it not ill, spectators, I beseech, that though a beggar I shall make a speech before Athenians upon state concerns in comic style. E'en comedy discerns the claims of justice, and what I shall say will be severe but just. And yet to-day Cleon will not accuse me with his jeer that I abuse the state with strangers here. At this Lenaean feast we're quite alone. The strangers haven't come yet, there are none arrived with tribute, and no troops as yet from the allies. So now at least we're met all by ourselves, clean-husked Athenians born, for as to metics they're the chaff of the corn. Now, I hate Spartans very much indeed, and wish the ocean god, whose victims bleed on Tenerim, would make their houses fall, shaken by earthquakes, down upon them all. For I've had vines cut down as well as others. But, since all present here are friends and brothers, why blame the Spartans for this inconvenience? For there are men with us, but not Athenians. I never said they were Athenians, mind. Not men at all, but wretched, ill-designed, false counterfeits, the current coin debased, flash citizens dishonored and disgraced, who confiscated the Megarians' jerkins. And if they cited garlic, salt, or gherkins, leverets or sucking pigs, they called them ware from Megara, and sold them then and there. That was a custom native to the land. 'Twas graver matter when a drunken band of Cotybus befuddled boys went over and stole a girl from her Megarian lover. Then the Megarians, bursting with vexation, steal from Aspasia in retaliation 2 other doxies, and the war that drenches all Greece with blood was due to these 3 wenches. For then the Olympian Pericles in ire, full mind enlightened with vindictive fire, and shook all Hellas with his armed throngs, and laid down laws that read like drinking songs, that the Megarians do no more remain on land or market-place or sea or plain. Then the Megarians, when famine's stride came nearer, begged the Spartans to provide that the 3 women bill should be repealed. But, though they often begged, we would not yield. And thence arose the clatter of the shield. You'll say 'twas wrong, but what was right, I pray? Come now, suppose a Spartan, some fine day, sailed to Seriphus and gave information, and sold a puppy dog to your vexation. Would you have stayed at home? No, that you'd not. The truth is you'd have launched upon the spot 300 galleys, filled the town with bawling for ship owners and captains, soldiers calling, with pay being given, measuring of rations, figureheads gilded, groaning trading stations, with thongs and wineskins, people buying firkins, garlic heads, olives, nets of onions, gherkins, chaplets, sprats, bruises, piping women's scars. The dockyard had been full of flattening spars, and banging nails and fitting oars for griping, flutes playing, boatswains whistling, pipers piping. That you'd have done. Deem we that Telephus had not? Then reason hath departed us. First Semi-Chorus. How dare you, beggar, talk like this, and task all informers to our face, you arrant rascal? Second Semi-Chorus. Nay, by Poseidon, but the man speaks fair. All that he says is true, not false, I swear. First Semi-Chorus. And if it is, what right has he to speak it? On his bold head my vengeance shall be wreaked. The first Semi-Chorus advance in a threatening attitude towards Dicæopolis. Second Semi-Chorus interposing. Ho there! Where are you running to? Stay, stay! If you touch him, you'll get a throw, I say. A struggle takes place between the two divisions of the chorus, in which the first Semi-Chorus, the party hostile to Dicæopolis, is worsted. Thereupon it implores the assistance of Lamachus. First Semi-Chorus sings. Lamachus, appear, appear. Let the lightning of thine eye strike the foeman's heart with fear. Fellow tribesmen, hasten nigh. Bless us now with wished sigh, mighty Gorgon-crested knight. Is there here a warrior form, knight at arms or colonel? Any soldier skilled to storm town and tower impregnable? Let him come to aid with haste, for I'm grappled round the waist. Lamachus strides upon the stage, accoutred like a burlesque hero, with rustling plumes and clanging armour. Lamachus. Whence came that martial summons from afar? Where must I aid? Where wake the din of war? Who roused the Gorgon from her case of leather? Dicæopolis, feigning extreme terror. Sir Lamachus, what fettle and what a feather! First Semi-Chorus. O Lamachus, hasn't this scurvy Jack been slandering all our state this long time back? Lamachus. How? Dares a mendicant like thee talk thus? Dicæopolis. Gramercy, pardon it, Sir Lamachus, if a beggar like me did prate and prattle so. Lamachus. What saidst thou of us? Speak. Dicæopolis. I don't yet know. Your terrible armour makes my head go round. Oh, please, please, put that bugbear on the ground. Lamachus laying down his shield. There then. Dicæopolis. Now turn it upside down. Lamachus reversing the shield so that the Gorgon head is undermost. I've done it. Dicæopolis. Now give me, please, the feather from your bonnet. Lamachus. Well, there's the feather. Dicæopolis. Hold my head a while. I don't feel well. Those plumes have stirred my bile. Lamachus. Wretch! Wouldst thou use my feather for a vomit? Dicæopolis. What is the bird if that's a feather from it? It's a white-feathered boaster, I suppose. Lamachus. Ha! Thou shalt die. Dicæopolis. No, Lamachus, your blows don't reach the point between us here at all. Lamachus. How, beggar? Speakst thou thus to a general? Dicæopolis. Am I a beggar? Lamachus. Why, what are you then? Dicæopolis. What am I? Why, I'm a good citizen, and not a toadying place-hunter's son, but since the war began, the son of a gun, and not the son of a pay-captain like you. Lamachus. I was elected. Dicæopolis. By an owl or two. Well, I made peace, for I was sick and ill to see grey-headed veterans serving still, and boys like you all shuffling off to race, some with 3 drachmas salary to Thrace. Your Tisamonophilippian brothers and vagabond Hipparchides, and others, Ceres and Theodorus, to Chaonians, or Cares with our Attico-Bezonians, others to Camarina and to Sicily, aye, and to any other place that is silly. Lamachus. They were elected. Dicæopolis. Aye, but what's the reason you're always going in and out of season and getting salaries and none of these? Pointing to the Acharnians. Say, did you ever go, Myrilides, on an embassy, although you're old enough? See there? He shakes his head. Yet he's your stuff, a steady working man. And what of these? Draculus, Prinides, Euphorides? Has any one of you been all the way to see the great king, or Chaonia? They answer no. 'Tis only Lamachus and Cicera's baby who have prospered thus. Men who were only yesterday so drowned in debts and taxes that their friends would sound the alarm, "Keep off," whene'er they came in sight, like people pouring out the slops at night. Lamachus. O sovereign people, must I bear this? Say. Dicæopolis. No, not when Lamachus refuses pay. Lamachus. Then will I wage most furious bloody strife, on sea and land throughout my mortal life, against all Spartans and their base allies. With puissant arm I'll strike and scourge mine enemies. Exit Lamachus. Dicæopolis. And I make proclamation unto Sparta and her allies, that all with me may barter. Megarians and Boeotians may thus come to my market, but not Lamachus. Exit Dicæopolis. The Parabasis. 1. Comation. He's winning the day, and the people incline to the truce. In their conscience his plea sticks. But we'll doff our long-flowing robes and combine to chant out the loud anapaestics. 2. Anapest. From the time when his first comic chorus was given our master, he never has come on the stage to assure us that he is remarkably clever. But his enemies charged him of late, in Athens of speedy decision, of libeling people in state with an insolent scoffing derision. And so he now wants to reply to Athens of fickle decision, declaring his merits are high and deserving of your recognition. 'Twas he who prevented the state from being fooled by each foreign oration, from swallowing flattery's bait with an open-mouthed kit's delectation. Ere that, all the envoys who came from the cities would try to get round you, recalling your glorious name and the violet chaplets that crowned you. When any one uttered the phrase, you were all so rejoiced beyond measure, at the crowns all united to praise, that you sat upon tip-tail for pleasure. And if any one flattered your pride, to the sleekness of Athens referring, he'd bring all the world to his side by a compliment fit for a herring. In this way, our master replies, he has done you a service emphatic, by showing how all the allies are conducting their rule democratic. So now they will quickly arrive with the tribute they owe to the city, all eager to see him alive, the poet so brave and so witty, the poet who risked his own life to Athens her duty declaring. Yea, now in far countries is rife the fame of his glorious daring. The king himself lately demanded of some envoys from Sparta discreet, first, which of the two states commanded the Grecian seas with her fleet. And secondly, which was so often abused by this wonderful poet, already their wicked hearts softened to virtue, he said, and I know it. The side he so wisely advises will soon get the best of the blows. And this is why Sparta devises proposals of peace for her foes. First she asked back Aegina, not caring a jot for the island, that's clear, but craftily bent upon tearing our bard from his natural sphere. But never do you let him go, for he'll play out his part with sincerity, and promises ever to show the virtuous path to prosperity, not fawning nor offering bribes, not tricking nor playing the cheat, not drenching with long diatribes, but teaching what's honest and meet. 3. Macron. Pronounced by the actor in a breath. And therefore let Cleon exhibit his skill in plotting against me whatever he will, confederate justice my bosom shall thrill, and I'll never like him be convicted of ill, who is false to the state and is false to it still. 4. Strophe. Come, Acharnian muse, that burnest with the fire that feeds thy heart, energetic, strong, and earnest is thy native simple art. Thy live vigour shall not dwindle, as the sparks incessant leap which the helpful bellows kindle from the oak log's smouldering heap, when the little fish are lying all upon the charcoal frying, and, while some are kneading bread, others mix the Thasian pickle, pickle richly filleted. So I pray thee be not fickle, bring a song, lively, nervous, bold, and strong, rough with rustic hardihood, come to me, thy demesman good. 5. Epirema. We the aged, we the hoary, blame the thing our state has done, that our old age is not cherished for the sea fights that we won. Hard, ungrateful is your conduct, dragging men with age oppressed, to be laughed at in the law courts by the stripling's ready jest. Ancient men, mere living shadows, deaf to sound with pipe played out, whose Poseidon and preserver is the staff they bear about. Mumbling, drivelling with dotage, there we stand within our place, seeing nothing but the darkness of the labyrinthian case. Then the youngster, very jealous to conduct his accusation, smartly cudgels us with phrases clenched into a neat oration. Then he drags us up to question, setting all his word traps baited, hounding, pounding, and confounding, poor Tithonus evil-fated. Toothless with old age he mutters, and at last he goes away, and the verdict is against him, his accuser wins the day. Then he sobs and tells his comrades with a bitter, tearful whine, all the money for my coffin must be paid to meet the fine. 6. Antistrophe. Shame upon your evil doing, ye who bring up every day to the water clock and ruin some poor fellow old and grey. Some old mate who shared your labour, wiping off the manly sweat from his brow, your constant neighbour in the battle's dust and heat. One with whom you fought and won on the field of Marathon. We were making charges then on the foe that backward hurried. Now by shameless countrymen we ourselves are charged and worried. Till at last we're defeated too, and cast, who this scandal will deny? Even Marpsius dare not try. 7. Antiparema. Should a bent and hoary greybeard like Thucydides be sued, vexed by this abomination of a Scythian solitude, ruined by this prating pleader, this Cephisodemus here? Ah, my heart was full with pity, and I brushed aside a tear, when I saw a Scythian archer, a long-winded advocate, sore perplexing and confounding that old servant of the state, who by Ceres, in the old time when he was Thucydides, from that dame herself would never have endured such wrongs as these. Rather would he first have gripped and flung you Athluses by dozens, then bawled down 10,000 archers and outshot his father's cousins. But, since now you will not suffer aged men to sleep in peace, vote that suits should be divided, that this great injustice cease. Let the toothless charge the toothless, let the old accuse the old, let the young have smart accusers, ready-tongued and quick and bold. So in future you must never fine or banish those who are flung, save when old men sue the old men, and when young men sue the young. Enter Dicæopolis. Dicæopolis. These are the bounds, then, of my place of barter, which I throw open to allies of Sparta. Megarians and Boeotians may thus come to my market, but not Lamachus. The market stewards I elect together by lot to be these 3 good straps of leather. And hither let no base informer come, nor any other man from sneaking home. Now I'll set up the pillar with the treaty, and make it visible to all the city. Exit Dicæopolis. Enter a Megarian with 2 young daughters. Megarian. Hail! Mart o' Athens, to Megarians dear, I've yearned for you by friendship's lord so sore, as ye'd have been my mother. Hoot together, ye misleared bairns of an unlucky father. Get up, and gin ye fin it, free the haggis. Just harkye now wi' all your empty baggage. Would ye be solt, or would ye starve to death? Daughters. We would be selt. Megarian. And so I think. But where'd ye find good faith? A coof so fexless as to buy ye baith, your good-for-nothing hizzies? I've hit on a good Megarian plan. I'se gar ye pit on these clouts, and say I bought 2 sows to niffer. Pit on the pig-graith now, and dinna differ. For a braw old Grumphy's bairns are on my oath. I'se take ye home at once to starve to death. And put thy snouts here now upon your grunsies, and ga into the sack at once, ye dunces. And mind ye grumph, and say "Coy, coy," and squeal like whingin' mystery pigs in Unco Deal. Now I's ca Dicæopolis to choose. Who thee? My man, and would you buy some sows? Enter Dicæopolis. Dicæopolis. What's this? A man from Megara? We're come to market, mon. Dicæopolis. And how'd you do at home? Megarian. We sit all day in the chimnel lug and fast. Dicæopolis. Ah, that's delightful, if the liquor last, and if a piper's there, that's very pleasant. How else do you Megarians fare at present? Megarian.
Just so. When I started to come hither, the council was consulting all together what was the best and quickest way to die. Die. Then you will soon be freed from misery. Megarian. Well. Die. What else? How is corn selling there? Megarian. It's like the gods with us, it's unco dear. Die. Then have you salt? Megarian. Haven't you the salt works too? Die. Or garlic? Fiend height garlic have we now. When ye invade our country like field mice, ye howk up all the heads on it in a trice. Die. What have you then? Megarian. 2 sous for the mysteries. Die. Good. Let me see them. Megarian. They're good sows are these. Lift up this one and feel her if you choose. How much she weighs? They're both mace birdly sows. Die. Feeling the sack. What's this thing? Megarian. It's a sow, mon. Die. Of what breed? Megarian. Is not that a sow indeed? Die. Doesn't look like one to me, it's true. Megarian. Mere shame to ye. Look at his suspecting new. He says this is no pig, ava. I's wad you. Some thime it sout new and ye wis, my laddie, that it's a proper pig by the law of Greece. Die. Well, it's a proper pig of the human race. Megarian. Trouth, mon, it's mine. Was did you think it was? Have ye a min to hear him squeal? Die. Oh, yes. Megarian. Be quick now, sow, at once, and make a squeal. You mauna hold your whist, ye ne'er-do-well, or on my elth I'll take your home again. Daughter. Coy! Megarian. Is that a pig? Die. Now it's a pig, that's plain, but it will be a woman when it's prime. Megarian. It will be like its mother in 5 years' time. Die. But it won't do for sacrifice. Megarian. Why no? Why won't it do? Die. It has no tail to show. Megarian. Well, it's a young one. When it's been weel fed, 'twill have a good long tail, a fat and red. But an ye rear it, here's a bonny sow. Die. It's very like the other one, it's true. Megarian. They're free of mother and father both. 'Tis a good Venus offering, in faith. Die. And can they feed without their mother now? Megarian. And without their father, ye may vow. Die. What do they eat most? Megarian. All you let 'em try. Just spirit them yourself. Die. Pigs. Daughters. Coy! Die. Would you like peas to eat? Daughters. Coy! Die. What? And dried figs from Fibolus? Daughters. Coy! Die. Oh, what a squeal they give when I say figs. Let someone bring out figs for the little pigs. Now will they eat them? Heracles, look there. They munch them quite like human beings, I swear. Whate'er the breed, they're very gorgeous pigs, and yet they cannot have gorged all the figs. Megarian. Nah. I just took this one for myself. Die. They're most humane young porkers, I can tell. What do you want now for your pigs, my man? Megarian. Let's have a bunch of garlic for this one, and take for tither and a quart of salt. Die. Stay here, I'll buy them. Exit Dicæopolis. Megarian. Hermes of the mart. Just let me go and sell my wife now, this very gate, and my old mither too. Enter an informer. Informer. Fellow, who are you? Megarian. I'm a Megarian, troth, a pig merchant. Informer. Then I'll denounce you both. As enemies, your little pigs and you. Megarian. The cause of all our skaith's returning now. Informer. I'll teach you, sir, to megarize like this. Put down the sack. Megarian. Ho! Dicæopolis! Someone's denouncing me. Enter Dicæopolis. Die. Who's that denouncing? Come, market stewards, you are meant for trouncing informers. He belabors the informer with his leather straps. Who gave you your education, you dunce? Pray, how can you give information? Informer. Shan't I denounce our enemies? Die. You'll rue it, unless you run off somewhere else to do it. Megarian. Troth, what a plague at Athens this maun be. Die. Cheer up, Megarian. Here's the price, you see, the salt and garlic for the pigs I get. Take it and fare you well. Megarian. I'll no do that. We fare na well in my country. Die. Then may it recoil on me if I was wrong to say it. Megarian. My little sows try now without your daddy to eat your bonnocks salted, and they're ready. Exeunt omnes. End of Part Two. Recording by Expatriate in Bangor, Maine.